Well, Altrincham looking cool in defence as we approach the last 10 minutes or so of this game. John Rogers there getting a push in the back from Phil Neal, so a free kick to the Robins. In fact, exactly just inside a foot or two inside their own half. Ball cleared, the ball well between the knees now of Johnny King, and Altrincham coming out of it. John Rogers on the right, well, trying for a shot rather than a cross. Perhaps the cross might have been more fruitful. Nevertheless, in this kind of situation, when a opportunity arises, you take that chance. Well, no doubt you heard there, Johnny King really getting at his players verbally and trying to motivate them to play until every last second is played up of this game. Just a throw to Liverpool. Taken by Sammy Lee, who's got through a tremendous amount of work today. Well, Johnson taking a dive there, it would appear. Clements quickly out as that ball was just rather too far ahead of Barry Howard. Dalglish in possession for Liverpool. Jimmy Case. Oh, nicely controlled by Dalglish. Dalglish takes it around the keeper, and the linesman signalling that the ball was in fact out of play over the byline. Anyway, so any cross that Dalglish got in wouldn't have mattered. King with a nice little back heel. I'm sure he enjoyed that one, as did the Altrincham fans. Barry Whitbread through to Barry Howard. He's had a good second half. Not given. And Sammy Lee whipping there past John Owens, getting in the cross. Ah, how remarkable. Well, the referee has given a goal kick. Play on the halfway line on my watch. 7 minutes to go here at Anfield. Liverpool still leading by 3 goals to Altringham's 1. Barry Howard, the real danger man, but losing control there, unable to control the ball sufficiently. Dalglish, and as soon as Dalglish has possession, 3 men are on him. John Rogers, although caught offside. Well, let's give credit to the Altrincham players. They really are playing to the last second. and even if they don't improve upon this 3-1 scoreline when it comes to the end of 90 minutes, it will have been a memorable occasion for them, one which they thoroughly enjoyed, I'm sure, and one which will leave an extremely good impression of the Altrincham Football Club with many people here at Liverpool and the people who have travelled here to see the game today. Well, I'm sure even Alan Kennedy's got a bit of a smile on his face there, as that brings a bit of light-heartedness to the game this afternoon as he tripped over the ball. Kennedy taking the ball off the toe there of Johnny King. Case out to McDermott. McDermott, who's been relatively quiet in this second half. In fact, Altrincham have almost matched Liverpool for territorial advantage. And yes, indeed, it's John Rogers going through with a left foot shot, and only a superb save to his diving to his right by Ray Clemens saved Altrincham from scoring their second goal. That really was a brave break on there. A nice bit of work by John Rogers, one of the most lethal goal scorers in the Alliance Premier League. And well, certainly Ray Clemens has played his part today for Liverpool in keeping the scoreline to Liverpool 3, Altrincham 1. Free kick then to Liverpool, taken by Ray Kennedy. And a nice rescuing header there. Although the ball is in possession of the Liverpool players once again, Lee has seen so much of the ball. He's really earned his wages today. Kennedy in with a cross. Ball headed out. Richard Money on the half volley. A good attempt there by Richard Money, who's had a good game for Liverpool, going to replace Alan Hansen. The linesman's flag up for offside. Money inside to McDermott to Dalglish, and Liverpool seemingly content to keep possession in the closing few minutes. Nice bit of positional play there by Ray Kennedy as he finds Jimmy Case. Case having switched over to the left-hand side of the field for the first time this afternoon. Dalglish plays the ball out to Case. Case going into the byline, pulling it back. A nice chip in. And the goal there, the fourth goal for Liverpool for Ray Kennedy. And that came at the end of some very impressive interpassing indeed, and some play that sums up really what Liverpool are all about, and that is experience, having been together for a number of years. They play together as a team, they play superbly as a team, and that's a beautiful move that ended in the goal from Ray Kennedy, number 4, Liverpool 4, Altrincham 1. On my watch, just 1 minute to go to full time. So the seconds dying away. And 3-goal difference between these two teams today. And I'm sure everybody concerned with the game will be quite glad, really, that Altrincham, in fact, were able to get onto the score sheet and so that they scored a goal against Liverpool at Anfield. The referee, Mr. Farley, looking at his watch. Offside given, and a few people in the crowd decided to leave. The Altrincham fans, never say die fans, still cheering their team on. They'll cheer them on to the bitter end. But it's been a competent display by Liverpool this afternoon. They haven't necessarily been devastating. They've looked quite frustrated by their own inadequacies at times, particularly in the first half in attack. But they've hit back in their best and most positive style, and usually when Altrincham have gone to the other end and they've just counter-attacked and come back with some really sweet moves that their players all about. Referee Mr. Farley blows for time. The Altrincham dream is at an end once again, this time for the 3rd successive year. And the Kop salutes the men of Altrincham.
Play, lads. Well done, John.
Earth orbit checkout flight. If it worked, the way was clear. Just after 7 flew would come the presidential elections. Again, the political climate dominated NASA's behavior. To protect the agency, it was clear that James Webb would have to hand over to Tom Paine.
3 weeks before an election, you're going to fly the redesigned Apollo that in the earlier test stages killed 3 men. If you have any kind of trouble, it's going to have an effect on the election. And I wanted to be outside the government so I could speak my mind and take on the fight that this was the right decision and the program should go forward. And so President Johnson and I reached a very simple decision. If I retired in October before the election and just before the Apollo 7 flight, the message would be very clear to whoever would be president, Humphrey or Nixon. You don't have to worry about this man Webb that has become controversial.
The political and technical gamble had paid off. On Christmas Day 1968, Apollo 8, carrying Frank Borman, Jim Lovell and Bill Anders was in lunar orbit.
And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters.
For NASA and America, it was the end of a 2-year nightmare. It was virtually certain that the moon landing would happen in time.
They was good.
Well, you know what happened next. They went to the moon, and they brought back a total of over 800 pounds of moon rock, now officially classified as a national treasure, which is why this giant steel door exists. It has 2 time locks, and only 2 people know each of the combinations of those locks.